What's up, everybody? A Left It Wall update. Left It Wall is now available on Tubi. What does that mean? That means you get to watch it for free. I know there's so many streaming services out there, so many monthly fees, that sometimes renting or buying something just seems like a pain and yet another expense. Well, now it's available free. If you're not already using Tubi, I highly recommend it. You can get it on your smart TV, or you can just watch it online on your computer. Just type in Left It Wall movie, and the Tubi link should come up as one of the available ways to watch it. So if you haven't watched it yet, come on. Now you've got to. Left It Wall on Tubi. Episode 108. Chris Smith. Chris Smith is a writer and performer. From a small farm in rural California to the movie business in Los Angeles, he's had successes, failures, and has dealt with crushing loss. His Fringe show, Mind for the Tribe, tackles all of this and takes a one-person deep dive into our search for meaning. I went to a show not really knowing what to expect. What is this tribe, anyway? I guess we're all still searching, and that's the point. Please welcome to the show, Chris Smith. Chris Smith, how are you? Good to see you again.
Good to see you, man. How's it going?
Good. We had a fun time at the Hollywood Fringe Festival summer camp.
Right. I keep telling people, like, what was it like that first party the night I met you at the party? It's like this felt like the first when you first get to college, and nobody has gotten apart over you yet. Nobody's broken up yet. Nobody's cheated on anybody. Nobody's said anything stupid drunk yet. We're like, oh, everybody has such potential to be awesome and wonderful and part of my community.
Yeah.
Haven't had that feeling in a long time.
Yeah, it really is that kind of feeling. Like it's just a really cool hang. There's a social element to it. You're expanding your creative group, and it's a special thing. And I feel like especially now, and I know we talked about this off mic, but I feel like especially now there was just a positive energy. Right. And I'm sure there was in years past too. I just don't know because it was my first time doing the Hollywood Fringe. Right. But I feel like in particular now, because the industry is such a shit show, you know, people are just happy to be creative, happy to have that 100%. Spirit going. I mean, even though it's live theater, so there's not a dime to be made, but it's
plenty still to be lost. But
sure, yeah. But let's start at the beginning. So, where'd you grow up, man? Give me some. I mean, I know some of the origin story because I saw your show, right. but let's fill it in for everybody else.
Less well written. Constantly. Grew up on a cattle ranch in North California, 210 acres. I am the fourth generation that's lived here. It was bought in the 1920s, which is just bananas. We have a barn here that's all redwood that's 20, 30 feet in the air, and you can't get that without millions of dollars and talking to governments about cutting down redwoods. It's insanity. As my parents and grandparents would say, we grew up land rich and dirt poor. Okay. I inherited land, and and went to all the public schools around here. I was the oldest of four kids, and then always felt really out of place. And I came to realize later, you have your imagination, empathy, and passion that artists have, that other kids who are like, I want to learn how to dirt bike and play sports and all that stuff, just completely different than all those guys, which is why I think I took up karate, because it's about you improving, not about I have to deal with all these jackasses that I don't communicate well with. No, thank you. Found theater in high school and just kind of went from there.
Well, so growing up on a ranch, did you help out with the ranchly duties?
Oh yeah, 100%. It was one of those things that really helped me when I became a producer or worked in production. Was other kids. This was really apparent when I tried out for wrestling in junior high. Was there's a physicality and a sense of getting work done that I really admire about the rural area, there's a work ethic and a community.
Hmm.
Like I'd have to go fix fence after school. Like you do the whole school thing, you do PE, you go to karate, and then come home and like, oh, I have to go fix fence, or I have to go feed cows, or we have to move the cows around to give them their inoculations, and um, like go cut wood and we had wood burning stoves, so we have enough property, and there's always a tree down, so you go out with a chainsaw and you just make a
Wow.
day of it, and just like it's so weird to have that as a contrast from the arts. Like
Hmm.
even now that I'm back up here, like half of my day, like this morning is rewriting a film, um, and trying to get actors to come out for a reading on it, and then I have to put bales of hay in a makeshift trailer and go feed the cows before I come back to a writers group.
Wow.
It just it's a
Yeah,
wonderful.
but it's like you're thinking in terms of tasks, which yeah, can be like very very rewarding.
Oh, 100%,
Like it's
man.
like I'm finishing this script and I'm,
Doing the
cutting
thing I could
yeah,
see
cutting this
happening.
firewood, whatever it is. Yeah. No, that's wild. Well, did you guys farm too, or was it just like cattle
Just
ranching?
cows. Well, I
Just
mean,
okay.
my mom always tried to have a garden. Uh, Even now, it's like I have 7 tiny tomatoes. Like that's fantastic.
And seven
How
more
much
than I
time?
got.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I can't grow things, and I want to. I want to be able to grow food. I've been trying to like get into urban gardening, and I've been, a buddy of mine, his name is actually also Chris, coincidentally enough, but he is this amazing urban gardener. Like he grew up in I'm pretty sure Brooklyn, but yeah, one of the boroughs, like New York City guy, his
Right.
whole life, generations. But they always just really knew how to like urban garden at their place, and
I
he has this amazing bounty in like this
That's awesome.
this very dense area. It's really cool. And then I have a neighbor that does that professionally here in the San Pedro area in LA. Like he does it professionally, like it's his job. He gave me a tomato plant and he goes, "This is going to be an easy starter plant. You will not be able to
Good
kill
luck.
this."
Yeah.
Oh, guess what happened? I killed it. I
Right.
I
Right.
killed that plant. Oh, dude, I'm terrible, and I don't know why. I think I
I've
follow
tried,
all
man.
the rules, uh, but yeah, I can't do it. One time I was at this comedy gig. It was in rural Ohio. I couldn't remember the name of the town,
Mhm.
but I remember, I was kind of like riffing with them a little bit because you kind of, a show like that, you kind of got to talk to people some,
Yeah.
and I didn't even know the right vernacular for such a thing. So I literally said to them, like, so like, are you guys, it's kind of winter. So are like the farms open? And they thought that was the funniest thing they ever heard. They
Right.
they laughed so hard and they just thought, and I
Yeah.
don't even know if I was
Nine
trying to
to
be
five
funny.
every day except Sundays. Yeah.
Yeah. They just thought that after the show, they were like, "Are the farms open?" Ah, they were like the sweetest people, and it's
Right.
like, and then just everything I said, they were just like every punchline they freaking loved because I just won their trust with my "Are
That's
the farms
fantastic.
open?" question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's just an interesting world that I wish I was more. I wish I was more in touch with. I
Yeah.
guess it's never too late, but
No, like what I really found, because I wanted to get the hell out of here when I was a kid.
sure.
Like, I was like, because some of the same reasons I have issues with it today. There's a lack of culture that I'm interested in. Like a lot of my language is going to be, "You're being very nice." I'm like, no, I'm trying to retrain my brain to not be a dick about things. Like the culture isn't mine. So it's very hard to things like date or go hang out somewhere. There isn't like there's a bookstore that I went bananas over because it opened within 10 miles of me. Um, but there is this sense of within the art world or the entertainment world, you're keep trying to like push spaghetti up a mountain, right? It's this it's ridiculously hard thing, and then what I accomplished weeding something like this 6 by 6 area. no longer has this invasive species of weed in it. I have actually accomplished something today. There is that really nice contrast of, well, I think there's another draft in this film, and then I cut a tree, I have a cord of wood, it is done. Now, it's
Yeah,
that,
man.
yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying. It's an interesting paradox because I think that it is human nature to want to engage with culture and art, but if an area is sparse enough, it's just somebody's got to take that initiative to make it available, and that's not always an easy thing to do.
Oh no, I did try. I was
yeah,
artistic director of a theater company up here when I first got up. We did a season of shows that I was really proud of that I thought might connect, like one or two that just weren't. Like good old Arthur Miller did a David Lindsay A Bear, Good People, which is a beautiful show about a woman who's desperate for money and a job. And she's not the nicest person, but those are always the really interesting characters. Then we did like a zombie Christmas thing.
Dude, zombie Christmas. That's like Rolls Royce and Rolls Royce, man.
Right? And you have these people who just go, yeah, it's fine. They just didn't quite. It's not the same feel as film. And my parents are very much. I want to watch whatever that gold dredging show is about Alaska. They can watch overweight dudes with beards run around the mud in freezing temperatures.
I don't know. well, wait. On the theater company though, like were people coming out? Like were people into it or?
Some tried, but it always became that middle class, upper middle class people that were really interested.
Mm.
Like if we got locals, it felt very much like the Fringe, or I'd imagine the LA theater scene felt like when I was briefly involved there, where it's the people who who like you and who want to support you, not necessarily what you're doing as an artist, not necessarily what you're doing as an entertainer, but they like you, or they're people who just like theater and film because they're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I noticed. I don't think there was anything that my parents came to see just about everything. And I did occasionally have those moments where somebody who you didn't think it was going to affect, you'd have an effect on. And that's always beautiful and amazing, but it was so rare. And it wasn't something that they were very open to.
Interesting.
And I think it's now part of the political thing of as opposed to maybe when I was growing up in the 90s, where it was kind of okay, like art people were weird, but we weren't on the other side of the divide.
Yeah.
It's like theater is their thing. We are NASCAR. Like there's now very clearly this separation, or at least from what I've seen.
Well, I feel like, and I mean, obviously you can speak to this better than me because you actually did run a theater company in a rural area, but I would guess that if you want to make something like that sustainable in a small area, in a rural area, I would think that you would have to really provide a community service. Like you can't just have shows. Like you would have to offer classes. You would have to offer, like opportunities for children to get involved with theater. Right. Like you would have to be like a community entity. Yeah, to really make something like that work.
100%. And we were aiming at it, and almost all of our efforts toward it just kind of, I think it was more, how to say this without pointing at a person. The organization was not well equipped at its outset to start taking on massive other projects. It tried to do other things, and then like, okay, this would be great. We have to figure out how the light board works first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like let's figure out how to do this underwater drum solo. Well, let's have our first rehearsal.
Right. Maybe fill the pool first. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you're growing up in this rural area, kind of wanting a little bit more, but enjoying the nature. When did you start connecting with theater?
Uh, I know I did a puppet summer school class that I really enjoyed, but it was really in high school where all of a sudden people were just like, and I think this is something that I really needed to find out in the world to understand what an artist is, like how we're actually built. Like, we see the world differently, and as a child, you seem to think everybody else must see the world the same way. You
Hmm.
project onto the rest of the world, and then when and so you're constantly coming up against walls of people who are like, "You're weird. We don't get you at all." And then you get into theater, or you meet your type of people, and all of a sudden you go, "Oh my God, other people who at least speak the language that I speak." I feel like I've been speaking Cantonese in, rural America for uh, 15 years at that point, and then you're, "Oh my God, you guys speak Cantonese, I guess, with me."
So you became like a big theater guy in high school.
Oh, 100%. Every show, it became my haven. It's where people actually and it's also there's that other part where people start valuing you because you are just doing. I was
Hmm.
constantly working and helping and being a part of things, and then junior college in Sacramento, and same thing, just dove right in, and then went to UCI at Ball and Irvine.
Hmm.
And same deal, just I was all school all the time, and the one thing that I
And it
wished I
was
would have,
theater. You were a theater major.
oh yeah, 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 and I thought I was hot shit.
Like, I'm in the most lucrative field. I'm crushing it. Theater
I,
major, baby.
I am amazing. Everyone loves me. I'm constantly cast in shows. I am cranky and I am obnoxious. Yeah, and then you realize, like, oh right, I pissed a lot of people off because I there's the entitlement, which I also think is another part of insecurity.
So how did you piss people off? What do you mean by that?
Oh
Expand
yeah,
on that a little bit.
oh yeah, yeah. Yes, doctor. Um, so I wouldn't get, like, I didn't get cast in something, and um, or I didn't get cast in the role that I wanted in something, and I deserved it because I was so much better than the guy who got the role that I got. So I'd just be cranky and sitting in rehearsal, reading something and rolling my eyes and doing the ugh. Even just doing that makes me feel like you were that 14-year-old uh, girl.
Hmm.
uh, is he going to say it like that? Um, yeah, and a lot of the time, and you just, I had the feel of like if I didn't need somebody, if I didn't think they were at my caliber or level, just being kind but walking by and not caring. Yeah,
Mm.
being that
All
guy.
right. So you kind of
Yeah.
you kind of internalized a lot of the, if you didn't feel like you got your due at an audition, and I'd imagine that's even harder in that context because you're surrounded by the same peers all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's the safety of home, which every theater school became like home to me. And then when it didn't work, you feel like you have to change it, and you're not, and that's not your job as a student.
Mm.
Nor is it like you can take up arms against something, but what's the I always wish there was a bit more maturity in me or understanding, but I think that comes from being an idiot and then understanding what you did, so
Well,
you don't do it again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, in high school, was it musical theater, plays, a little bit of everything?
I musicals are not things I should do.
So it's interesting you say that. So my experience, you know, there were, my theater department in high school, it was reason like it was good, like it wasn't bad, but it was kind of, I guess maybe one dimensional is the right way to put it. Like it was very like musical theater
Ah,
focused, and then that was all we did. And so in a way, it's sort of I loved doing it just because it was still
yeah.
like artistic expression, but I kind of got a little like not soured, but a little like went off in a different direction because I just thought, oh, well, you're not really supposed to be a theater person unless, you're constantly singing show tunes, and that's not
Right.
me. And so I
Yeah.
didn't realize there was this whole other subset of theater that I was bound to really connect with. I didn't
Right.
realize that existed when I was 18 years old. And so I kind of migrated away from it for a really, really long time. I mean, the
That makes
Hollywood
sense.
Fringe was literally the first time I did theater since high school.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
had not
that's
done theater since high school.
that's amazing. Like, because yeah, I get that feel. Fortunately, almost every place I went, there was always a musical in college, but I just wasn't that guy. I was the I liked comedies and then really wanted to do drama, 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 drama. And I think that's where I sit now, is in the drama foot zone.
Yeah, I'd say so. As a guy who saw your show, yeah, that's it's definitely where
Drama,
you're sitting.
drama with attempting to be silly and hopefully charming from time
There
to
were
time.
some silly moments, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was a drama.
Okay. I
Yeah,
figured as much.
that was heavy, dude. I mean, and I was there. I was there at the perfect. I mean, I saw your show late night
Right. Oh, that was my
on a
worst show
weeknight,
too. Yeah.
and
Thursday, 10 p.m.,
you had to deal with a lot of sound bleed from a burlesque show.
which was fantastic.
So it was like
Yeah.
your very, very heavy show, which we're going to get into in just a second, but your
Sure.
very heavy show dealing with very heavy things. And then you would like hear hooting. Yeah, you would hear like hooting and hollering next door, from, people presumably not wearing a whole lot of clothes. And it was
Right.
just a very, very
I-
contrasting dynamic.
Right. It was such an interesting evening as well, because like every other show, it was the first show with that few people, and I found that, and it was a male audience, and men have a very different response to the show than women do, which I've been finding, which is just really interesting to like work on a show for long enough that you start going, all right, you're paying attention, but you're laughing at these things. You guys aren't.
Well, let's, before you go
Move there
on,
soon. Yeah.
no. I was going to say, let's just kind of set the show up on the tee first,
Right.
before we like really dive into it. So it is mine.
Musical.
Yeah, it's a musical. It's a one-person musical where you do a
miming
tribute
musical.
to all
Yeah.
your show tunes. And the drama is the main character loses his voice, and then he goes, I can't sing show tunes all day, every day, and now I'm
I'm
sad.
just going to mime it.
So I'm going to
It's a miming musical. And I'm bad at ASL, and it just, yeah. I'm doing all the patter songs from Gilbert and Sullivan in ASL.
No, the interesting thing about your show is I wasn't exactly sure what I was getting into, even though
Yeah.
it totally made sense, seeing it. And
Right.
like after seeing it, it's like, oh yeah, that title makes sense. The artwork makes sense. But let's dive into it. So tell everybody the name of the show, and then I have a follow-up question as soon as you say the title.
Right. Mine for the Tribe.
So who is the Tribe?
Tribe to me is other artists.
Okay. All right. So give the skinny on the show.
Okay. So I reluctantly at first, my director dramaturg Atom Adafia went, this is a sermon. This is the structure of your show. You're doing a sermon. It is personal stories told mostly through other characters who are cultural avatars of that space. So like an old rancher talking about me growing up, theater professor talking about me in college, and then books that I have come into contact with, which changed my mind as to what an artist was or how to do things psychologically well. So book reports and personal stories, culminating in the tragedy that I'm sure we'll talk, or trauma is a better way of putting it, that I went through and how I got out of it. And I realized I wanted to do a show that had a really clear, hopefully clear message to artists in the audience about not getting to where me and other people in my life have gotten to. I think that's really the goal.
So you mentioned that one of your kind of, I guess, maybe not life missions, but one of your sort of missions in this creative pursuit and just in general is building better men.
Yes.
What it means to build better men. Now, a lot of times when you hear stuff like that, it's kind of code for like right wing Jordan Peterson bullshit,
Right.
which is totally not you. So, or if it is, you're really good at hiding it. But I'm getting the vibe based on everything I've seen. That's for sure not you. So I wanted your perspective on that. Like, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me get my prospectus out of the gun safe next to my supplement sale counter. Not biased at all. Yeah. So I've spent a long time trying to figure out what it was that I felt was at the core of all the things that I wanted to do, and where I find the most use in myself. And when I went through therapy, I realized that there were a lot of, like, women will talk about therapy in a way that just kind of rolls off and is fine. Men still have some sort of shame around it. There's a little bit of like jokey pokey fun to it of, yeah, you know, I was in therapy and the thing happened. And similarly, I'd spent enough time in LA as a producer, and I'd been in a lot of rooms with some very unhealthy men, and I saw that they
You don't say.
Right.
In the industry in LA, you met some unhealthy people. No kidding.
Right. And granted, like, I don't ever want to point at men as being the exact problem with anything. We just happen to have culturally been in charge for a long time.
Oh, we've caused a lot of problems. I mean, I don't think that's unfair.
No. Well, if you're in charge, you also cause the problems, I guess, a lot of the
True.
time. But I think everybody has some mental health journey. It's just that men in particular have a very specific one that seems to have been not culturally acceptable. It's not part of our language. It's not how we view things, especially when I was growing up. And then I got back up here to the north, which it's El Dorado County. It's a heavily, almost reactively red county in California. And I say reactively red because these people do not get heard on a state level. Not that I necessarily agree that they should be. I'm very progressive. But you can imagine being liberal in like Texas, where
sure
you even if there's an enclave of you, you're not being heard at a state level. Like your vote, base it for like president or senators, doesn't matter.
Well, that is still the case in California. It's just like a different,
Yeah, exactly.
Like I actually, I kind of, I don't want to say I appreciate it because I think the Electoral College is terrible and should be done away with. But yeah, but I do. The one thing that I do kind of like about it is that I don't have to, cast my vote for one of these two awful frickin' parties. Right. And I can like try to help break this system, because I can vote green and it does not make a difference. I'm in California. The only way it makes a difference is it helps the Greens stay on the ballot, and it helps a third party reach 5%, which would then help us try to change the rules so that we have
national funds at a certain point, right?
You get national funds, and then you can, fight, because we're never going to have beyond a two-party system until some laws change.
Right.
And laws aren't going to change until there is just enough demand that it has to. And that's not a light lift, but it's not an impossibility. Laws made the system we have.
Maybe
we're working on it. Yeah. No, give it 2 weeks. But anyway, I don't want to. don't want to get off on
No,
the side
it's
tangent, but
no,
I see
I
what you're
love
saying.
tangent. It's fun.
So
Yeah, and we can always
reactionary red.
return to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I also saw these men in a different way than I saw them in high school. Like in high school, there was a value to a lot of what the men I grew up with had. They weren't necessarily in touch with their emotions, but they were there the second something needed to be done. They kind of built themselves after that sort of old school and possibly never really was cowboy mentality that personified in John Wayne and Clint Eastwood, that sort of pithy Spartan, I'm just here, I'm here to help um, mode. Like that was what a man was when I was growing up here. Um, Now I've seen some of those same men not become, I guess the easiest word to use is cruel. There's a
Mm.
cruelty in their mind. And not all of them. They're still very my dad is super Republican now. He claimed to be more centrist, but not based upon the things he says. But there's a change from his care and joviality to this this looking for ways of pointing at what the left is doing as terrible, or trying to put immigrants in a box, or crime in a box,
All
so that
these
we
powerless people, like
right,
all these immigrants who have no power, with all the
right,
political left who has no representation whatsoever in the country.
right.
They're the problem.
No, I have a wonderful story about this, if you'll indulge me for a moment. It's one of
Sure.
my favorite things that made my brain go, what? So my dad worked construction adjacent. He was a land surveyor until he retired. So we know a lot of people who are in contracting and whatnot. Um, and there was this guy, and I think I house sit for this dude at some point growing up, who had been managing on construction sites for, it was his job.
Hmm.
Um, and in the 90s, they started getting more immigrants in, and he didn't know Spanish, just standard white dude. Didn't know Spanish, and slowly those same immigrants went from being just a day worker to moving up the chain. So all of a sudden he's on construction sites, completely surrounded by people who speak Spanish. Dude decides to quit. And my dad points out, like, how awful is that these immigrants are taking people's jobs and that they're causing people to leave their jobs? And my brain just goes, what? No. The company that this dude left, this dude could have learned Spanish, right? Like,
Or just dealt with it.
yeah, like deal with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
deal with it or learn a couple Spanish words.
right. Like
There's
wood
app for
goes
that
over there.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Duolingo, baby. Follow the owl to fame and riches.
And
Um,
chances are, I bet a lot of the coworkers probably wanted to improve their English. So
right.
he could have
There
made
could have been
friends, you
something
know?
there,
There could have been
right?
something where it's like, hey, let me teach you guys some English and show me some Spanish. I mean,
Right.
I've had so many wonderful bonds that way, you know,
Right. Where
like
you're like,
meeting
I don't know what
people.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even like with my family, like, I mean, they, God knows I need all the help I can get with my Italian, and they always indulge me.
There you go.
And then I help them with which they need a lot less help with their English than I do with my Italian, but in most
Right.
cases at least. But I still like, I'll be like, oh no, we would say this, it's
Right.
fun. I think it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. It was just funny, and then came the big realization: the construction company has a big American flag flying in their little foyer thing, the
Hmm.
little, that little circle in front of their building on a giant flagpole. And like, the problem was never the immigrants were just looking for jobs,
Yeah.
and this company was willing to pay that low a wage to these people who were willing to work for that wage. So capitalism happened. The reason there weren't a bunch of American carpenters is because the company with that giant American flag in their driveway refused to up the price so that they could pay decent wages, to deal with a union, to deal with the people here who would take those jobs and have traditionally done them before
Hmm.
it became, it's like you're mad at a bunch of people who have zero agency, who just said, I'll do a job for cheaper.
Yeah, and you're not mad at the person who can't pay a fair wage so they can make 475 times what the worker does instead of maybe just
100%.
300 times.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's not even. I mean, and I, by the
Yeah.
way, I think it should be way less than that. I think anything
Right.
less than twice as much is beyond criminal. But
Right.
and I don't
100%.
think the structure should even exist. But
Hmm.
I'll take change gradually because
Right.
that's the best we can
Just like,
hope for. But
yeah, like if this company were just willing to pay whatever wage an American would work for, and then deal with all the taxes and all the paperwork, blah 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 blah, workers' comp, then 100%. Like, and I see that as being the disconnect with a lot of the people I see here. I just don't, and I really wanted to understand why men up here, very specifically, are fighting a fight that, at the heart of it, seems right. Like the grievance is correct.
mm,
The methodology is not. But we also on the left don't necessarily speak to them. And I know there's something that came up a lot within the last.
within the last 8 years, and
Yeah.
we still haven't figured it out. But I think,
No.
I mean, I think in a lot of ways, you just got to the heart of Trumpism. Even like
Hmm.
a lot of those grievances are very valid,
Right.
but then the scapegoats are just terrible, and you
Yeah.
have this demagogue, and it's not even
Hmm.
just Trump the individual; it's Trump and who he surrounds himself with,
Right. Trump Inc.
where
Yeah.
Trump
Yeah.
Inc. and
Yeah.
they just get those right scapegoats, and
Hmm.
they play to the reactionary nature of humanity,
Yeah.
and that's easy. That's easy and
100%.
it's lazy, but that's what they do. And sadly, that is really winning right now because your grievances are legitimate. Your grievances of not having a quality of life, not
Hmm.
getting a living wage, not having the opportunities generations before you had. Those are all valid grievances, and we all see that.
Yep.
But your problem is not the immigrant. Your
Right.
problem is not the trans person. Your
Right.
problem is
It's not
not.
inner city crime when you're out in the country. Like, what?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not social services. It's
Right.
not, other ways of government that actually would make your life better if you actually
Right.
knew what they were.
Right.
And, like the problem is, the Wall Street, the Wall Street fat cats, and it's the
Mhm.
CEO who's screwing you over. And, if, quote, men who are in charge or have some agency, if they all, I mean, going with your example here,
Mhm.
the best scenario we could ask for is that guy learns a little bit of Spanish. They all learn a little bit of English. They all become friends. And they're
Mhm.
like, this guy is screwing us over. We are all going to freaking quit. We're going to
Right.
form a workers' co op, and then he
Hmm.
can go fuck himself.
Yep.
That is what
Yeah.
the world. And by the way, that is possible legally
100%.
and strategically.
Yep. Yep.
That is possible. And if that happened everywhere in this country, it would change real quick for the
Right.
better,
Overnight. Yeah.
real freaking quick.
And the hardest part about it is that the solutions that I've noticed, that would help people out here, like they have been, their whole perspective has been usurped by addressing the grievance that the left doesn't. That's what's happened. And they're angry, and they've been angry so long. I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh in the car with my dad.
Mm.
Like, he started in Sacramento.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. The Limbaugh began here, and there's another guy, Dick John Sullivan or something.
Well, there was that first guy who he always smoked cigarettes, and I'm pretty sure he got lung cancer.
Right.
He was like the precursor to all them, like in like the early '80s. I forget his name, You
Yeah,
can see
I
videos of him. He's like just smoking all these cigarettes. Yeah.
and this is
Anyway.
the thing about the liberals.
Yeah.
They're trying to do this thing, and it just got caught in their brain as being the way. The other problem that we would have from the left is to convince them you're going to have to accept a few of these things that you just don't want to. You're going to
I
have to.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Sorry.
man. No,
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
what you're saying, but it's like, and I had this conversation with another guest very recently, like because I mean, look, I kind of wear my politics on my sleeve. Everyone knows I'm a huge
I've seen
lefty.
your socials. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen my socials, you've seen my play. I like,
Yeah.
there's no secret where I'm at, and I just
Yeah.
like. I mean, I don't get. I completely acknowledge there are some problems on my side of the street. I get that.
Right.
Lefties, we definitely need some help with messaging.
Right.
We are constantly looking for traitors, which is wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I try to change that as much
Mm-hmm.
as I can, and I try not to fall guilty of that myself. And
Right.
I've failed at that in the past. I'm not
Yeah.
perfect. None of
I
us
think
are.
we all have. Yeah.
We all have.
I
But
am. You
but
know?
the other but I will say it's like politically, like we're the group that has just been, from a political standpoint, we've been getting kicked in the teeth for generations and
Mhm.
generations. And it's like, how many kicks in the teeth are we supposed to take
Right.
and still say, okay, I'll take another? Like it's just
Right.
ridiculous at this point.
It's so funny. Like you put it in the context of like epic film, and like the way the Democrats have been responding since Nixon, at
Yeah.
least. Um, you'd think like the next generation would like go to a secret ninja political camp, like like come back and be like, I'm running for governor and assassin, like something that just like actually. No, but with the and I guess there is the difference in between the left. There's the progressive left, and there's the corporate left, right?
Hmm.
So the corporate left's like, we're going to do the thing where we pay lip service to that, but sure, tax cuts. Oh
Right.
no, the thing
And they
didn't
have all the
get
money and the
passed. Oh
power.
no.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not even they're just like the corporate appearing, like, I
Right.
mean, yeah, they're just the people in charge, really. And they always preach this, oh, come on, we got to unite, we got to do this. But yet, whenever our candidates, I mean, you're seeing what's going on in New York City right now.
Right.
Whenever our candidates actually get somewhere, all of a sudden that whole we need to unite thing goes out the window.
Right. Yeah.
But we're supposed to just shut up and accept the
Mhm.
centrist every single time. It's been going on since the 60s.
Yeah.
And
Where
it's
we just
like,
can't.
dude.
Like, well, we'll make a little progress, but you go, no, no, no. What we need, and because I believe there are four parties total within the two parties, and there's the center,
At
and then there's the
least.
far, right? Yeah, and the left hasn't gotten a shot. The true left, the progressive left, something that the Europeans would be like, oh, you're liberals.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, I always say, the joke I always say is I'm just like, yeah, compared to the rest of the world, I would just kind of be on the left. In the U.S., I'm
Right,
considered watch list.
right.
Like it's like,
We have to find a way to make sure he goes to El Salvador with those other people. Can we do that yet? We're working on it next year. It's going to take some time.
well, so
Um,
I want to get into
uh,
some of the other themes here, like tying into all this.
sure, sure.
You really confront, especially in your show and in your life, and share as much as you want.
Mhm.
You really confront loss because you've
Yeah.
experienced a lot of loss.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I've seen the show, but
Right.
I don't know how much you want to share or not share. But
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead and
no,
expand on that how you want.
yeah. No, I think all of the faults, because all the Building Better Men stuff came out after I went through a process of healing, and I needed therapy. And I wasn't doing well. I got to a point that felt weird where just everything seemed to go after a year of grieving to that point of suicidal ideation because I just wasn't doing great at all. Like, I didn't feel like I had anything to hold on to. I had no future or point to existing, all that fun stuff. And I went to therapy, and the wonderful thing about therapy was the idea of you don't have to feel that, you don't have to think that, you don't have to react to that either. Like I think if at the core that's what psychology is supposed to teach you in some way is there's a part of your brain that reacts to things. You have other parts of your brain that can take over.
Mm.
Now, you do not have to be the thing you've habitually done. You don't have to be, a simple example, I've tried so hard and it's still part of me. I don't want to complain. It's a small thing. It's not just dealing with, it's what doing the grief part, going through therapy, and then those extra steps of, okay, I'm through this difficult time, but I don't want to ever be there again. How do I remove the negative parts, the things I don't like, the things that don't push forward from myself, and see the world in a better way? Like what helps me? Having a goal, like doing this show, writing every day, exercising, eating better. Like all of these things came out of not just dealing with, after dealing with the grief, the tools of psychology and therapy kind of just helped everything else. I think it was really just my entire life felt like the window was dirty, and then therapy came along and started cleaning the window, and I went, oh my God, I want to see this thing sparkling. I want this clear. I want to go all the way in. And when you start investigating, you start making those connections of other things. Of I want to work with what are the things that I think are helpful and necessary as an artist to speak about. And one of them became mental health in the arts really quickly for the show. And then every subsequent thing has been, what are men in an empathic, kind, understanding way. At the start, how do you get somebody to face a harsh truth about themselves in the art world? And I'm also one of those artists who's very realistic. It's like you can nudge people, you can start a conversation. That's all you get. You don't change a life generally. You get to, hey, just FYI, maybe it's good to think about grief, or maybe it's good to think about your brain this way. Okay, bye, is kind of what you do as an artist. So the grief led to therapy, which led to a further exploration of myself and how I wanted to be in the world, and all of a sudden that starts changing everything else in your life and giving you the tools to view things clearer.
Do you want to talk about the cause of the grief?
Sure. So I had always been insecure and unhappy until my mid-30s. I became a line producer in LA for films, did really well for a few years there, but I was unhappy, unhealthy. I couldn't keep a relationship because of those things. You don't know it while you're in it, but like the inner child of creativity wasn't being creative, which made it very cranky and seek comfort from other places. Then when I left that, I almost ran over a dog. My little guy Rando, who's like 13 now, laying here,
Nice.
getting old, losing teeth, already lost an eye, but happy. Just dad's his favorite guy, and he's mine. Yeah, you know the feeling. And then I ran into somebody that I hadn't seen in 10, 15 years, just Facebook friends sort of thing, MySpace friends back in the day. And we got to talking, and it was the best relationship I'd ever had. It just kept progressing. Where we'd talk all the time, and I of course wanted something more, but she lived in New York, I was in LA, and in Northern California here, so probably not. Not easy to go have coffee, right? And then then I got a job in Vegas I was like, I want a wrap gift. And she called me one night while I was working there and just had a rough time. And I was like, I'm buying you a ticket. This is my wrap gift to myself. I'm buying you a ticket to LA. I have a free room for the weekend. I have to deliver like one piece of thing Monday morning, and I have no work to do from like Thursday on. She arrived Friday night, and it was just the beginning of the relationship. Started jumping across the country every couple of months, and it was just clear that this was my person. And eventually, I invited her to come out and live on the ranch. As she was packing up her apartment, she's quickly run into the hospital because she collapses at home while I think her brother and her father were there helping her pack. And she might not survive the evening. I'm asked to be on a phone call to say goodbye to her, and I'm losing my mind. But she survives to the next morning. I get on a plane and spend a month in the hospital. She recovers, moves out to the ranch, have a really good year. I get another job away as producing a film, I think, at that time. And when I came back, well, the reason she was in the, because I do this in the show specifically, I could do it differently here. She went to the hospital due to liver failure. And it's, when you hear liver failure, like, oh, drinking, right? It's like, you have lung cancer. Oh, smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Same deal. There are, of course, ways to get lung cancer or liver cancer without smoking or drinking,
Right.
but they're the rarity. We do it to ourselves. And so she gets a stent in her liver, and okay, so we don't drink. Easy enough for me. I'm fine. I was a heavy drinker when I was younger, but moving into my late 30s, early 40s at the time, not a problem. It was a huge issue for her. And then we spent a year together, got the job in LA, and I come back, and she's on this liver transplant list, and I find her drunk when I come back. And that's sort of where the year of hell began for me, when she decided that she was going to let to me, what I consider just the demons win. I'm not religious in any, but and I came to realize later, because I wanted to go on a hunt for what her demons were. And I found what I consider the best answer. But in the end, it was really she just didn't want to face them. And when you're in a relationship with somebody who's abusing themselves with alcohol, she stopped eating, other things that would just create this cycle of, okay, we're in the hospital because they need to give you some form of nutrient. You haven't eaten in like 4 days again. And then she comes back, has a meal or two, and then something would set her off to not eat again. And we just keep going back to the ER. And it got to the point where I was just about done. Like, her sister, who's a clinical psychologist, like, there's nothing you can do. She makes the decisions for what she does. She faces it or she doesn't. And I went and did another job, and her dad found her, and she had like frat pledging levels of blood alcohol level in her. And I was done. Like, that's it. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And we actually really talked about it at some point. Like, do you care more about your pain and not getting away from it than your own life, me, the life we could have together, our dogs? Like, what is there anything that you're willing to face yourself for? And how is it not the things you live with and want to build a life with? Like, make the decision. You have to make a decision, because I can't sit here and watch you die here. I can't do it. And if I'm gone, I'm not letting my parents or your parents find you. So we broke up. She did go to rehab, but then immediately, and I hate to say this, I feel like it's part of my, I did the right thing, but there's always ramifications to something large.
Sure.
Um, she got out of rehab, we broke up, and I think she just went back into an old pattern where she just went out and tried to find a way to feel better about herself. And eventually I just said, nope, I can't do this because she'd called me drunk and I'm sitting there like bewailing the one time I've been engaged. I was going to, we came up with kid names, all the things. And then I eventually just said, look, I have to cut you off entirely. I can't do this anymore. A few months later, a mutual friend told me that just apologized via text, like, I'm so sorry. And then I was like, well, what are you sorry about? Oh, God. And I found out that she had died on some dude's floor.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry you went through that.
No, thank you. Me too. And I'm mostly sorry for her and then her family, of course.
Yeah.
But then a few months later, as I do it in the show, my sister had been my sister, who's about 2 years younger than me, had brain cancer and had been battling it for 12 years. And a few months after my ex died, Nancy died too. And there was this whole horrible period where I had just found out that my ex died, and we all know that Nancy's not going to make it another week, maybe another month. Like, who knows? Like, you're in that waiting zone of cancer, and you see her kind of just melting.
Oh,
it's
man.
terrifying. And I was in such a horrible state that I felt like I was letting my family down by not going and seeing her as often as I probably could have. Where I realized later that it was a protective device internally. Like, you can't watch this again. You can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, at that point, I mean,
you're tapped out.
You're tapped out, and when things are that extreme, if you don't put in a little bit of self-care and boundaries, you're not going to make it.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. And I saw her. I saw her son and her husband like losing their minds, and I was just in no way. And I think it became really interesting to me, and one of the reasons that I went into therapy was I saw in them. I got so frustrated just sitting in a room listening to anybody. I'd always been weird. I don't like a lot of other people. It just like, yeah, I tolerate you. I want to go home to my dog and my book and like two people. That's what I want. But I realized how quick to anger and annoyance and frustration I'd get in a room with other people that were just there to mourn what I was mourning.
Mm.
Like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be in a room where I could be the one that explodes at everyone, because I don't want to hear another story about, my dad telling a story that has nothing to do with anything, or, we're going to talk about movies. Like, I don't want to talk about the way you guys see movies. I don't want to talk, when you're already on a tight string, you don't want to be added to. And after they had both passed, I spent a year like hard working in theater. That was the year I was the artistic director. Dated this whole other woman, and I thought I was fine, and I was not. And then I hit a real hard wall. After that full year, the theater and I parted ways due to creative and managerial differences. I was broken up. We had mutually separated as a couple, the next gal, and I was just in a horrible, needy, comfort-seeking place, and didn't know what to do. And it was winter and cold, and Christmas came, and like I felt alone, and New Year's came, and I felt alone, and I just didn't have anything to look forward to. And everything felt unimportant up till then.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point? And that's when I was like, oh, and then I hit this really hard moment of I fell for a gal that had a boyfriend at the time, and that was stupid, but I couldn't control my heart and feelings. Another friend came over one night to make her dinner, and I thought it was a date, and I proceeded to get super drunk and hit on her, and it was like shitty, and I felt like I was, at 19 again, like
Mm.
not knowing how to talk to a woman.
Well, it's like
Um,
when you're wounded, you
yeah,
really are. I mean, you're just walking around like a metaphorical bloody mess,
yeah.
and you're not going to be your best self. That doesn't give people an excuse to do whatever
Oh,
the
no,
hell
no,
they
no.
want,
Yeah,
but like it is one of those things. Like, and I've learned that both via myself. I mean, I've had those moments. I mean, I've not quite what you went through, but like going through a bad breakup, going through like a bad
yeah.
life setback, whatever,
Mhm.
where you're not your best self, and sometimes that's the only impression you get to make. And so there's a lot
Right.
of people that did not meet the best me, and I feel badly about that.
Yeah.
And then I've also realized, like, I've been in situations in my life where I didn't meet
The
the
best
best
man.
someone, and
Yeah.
then I
100%.
like evolved towards that because I realized, oh, you were in a toxic marriage. That's
Right.
why like
Or
you
you're
were
just like,
wounded.
yeah, or you just stressed at work and you snapped at me.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, I came to realize that one of the biggest things that was my issue was that I sought comfort incorrectly from others. It's not somebody's job to take care of me. It's my job to take
Hmm.
care of me. Um, I read a script yesterday and I was realizing why the climax was unsatisfying for the main character. I went, oh, the problem is that you aren't your character doesn't reach maturity, and it's a coming of age story.
Mm.
This character blames other things the entire time for their bad behavior. It's the parents, it's the society, it's the situation they're in, it's their own mind, it's the school. They never take on responsibility, which to me is what maturity is. It's
Mm.
like, doesn't matter what you've been given. Doesn't matter. You're you now. You're dealing with the world as it is. You've made mistakes. You've done stupid shit. Um, Fix yourself.
Mm.
And it's not easy. It's not but if we want to be mature, if we want to be responsible, yeah, I made a mistake. I don't ever want to go through that feeling internally again. I don't want to cause that sort of confusion or frustration externally. Um, if I cause somebody frustration, it's got to be because I'm debating them about politics, or I'm trying to say something about men or mental health that I actually believe in, versus just being an idiot, or displacing my uh, insecurity somewhere.
What would you say then is the key to healing?
Um, First, it's just to start asking the question: do you want to feel like this?
Mm.
No. And 9 times out of 10, like, no, God, no,
Yeah.
I do not. Yeah. Um, and then it's to understand that, like, trauma and grief have a lot of similarity, um, because one part of your brain wants the thing that isn't there.
Mm.
It's in the habit. It's like a breakup, right? Your brain, for a little bit after a breakup, is saying, oh, you know who I want to talk to tonight because I talk to them every day, or I text them, or I saw something funny. I want to. Your brain is in this pattern of sending it to her, to him, to whomever, right? And then that smarter, logical, but kind of unfeeling part of your brain goes, "You broke up, shithead. Like,
Yeah.
you're not together." Um, so it's this dual thing of like, oh, I'm feeling loss, hope and expectation, and I want to connect, and then I can't because it's over. And you need to work on a third part of your brain that is kind and understanding that those two pieces are exceptionally useful, but they should not be driving the car.
Mm. I think that's awesome. I mean, and this is something I've been a little more open about in recent years, and it took me that long, but I struggled with anger a lot in my life, and and I'm in a place in more recent years where people who have just met me or have only known me for like the past handful of years are very surprised to hear that.
Right.
Which
Right.
I'm like,
I'm really
well,
good at doing this.
yeah, well, yeah, I'm like, that means it's working, and I'm still figuring it all out. But a lot of the big catalysts where I really started to make the change was just, I'm not this guy. Like,
Right.
this isn't me. Like it's like,
I
and
really
so
don't
many.
want to be. Yeah.
I really don't want to be this guy. And so many people, even when I was younger, have, seen past that to embrace the true me.
Right.
And God, I'm so indebted to those people. And they're still my friends to this day.
Right.
People who,
just blind assholes, right?
just totally. I don't know how they overlooked that. How did they overlook that? But no, I mean, just people who really were able to see, past those. Not that we don't all have our flaws, of course we do.
Yeah.
But I, needed to make some serious corrections, and I'm not at the finish line. I never will be. None of us will be. But I've been able to come a long way, and it's because I'm just like, I'm not that guy, and I'm not going to be that guy anymore. I'm done being that guy.
No, and I think we have I find it to be a really, and congratulations, like that's fantastic.
Well, you too, man. I mean, what you've overcome, Jesus.
And I think we need it. I've been somebody who's said, like, we are not a reasoning species. We're a rationalizing species.
I don't even know about that these days, but all right, I'll go there with you.
Yeah, we don't think things through like, oh, that's good. I want to do that. So most of the time, we just smush these things down, and that's really, I guess, one of the things that I really thought was important about Building Better Men, to bring it back to that, is I'm better now. And wouldn't it be fantastic if I didn't have to go through all of this stuff, all this pain, all of this worry, all this doubt, all this additional work, if someone had just said at 17, you need to talk to somebody. And if I truly believed that, and I was truly okay with it, and it was honestly available. And since we're in the place that we're in, I think we would solve so many problems. I mean, we keep elbowing into politics from time to time, but I think we'd solve a whole bunch of things with politically if everybody had a better understanding of psychology, and it weren't a buzzword for weak people or people with true neurodivergent, like far side of it, not just I have a touch of the ADHD. Like it's for the crazy people. And of course, that's how 3 generations ago nobody went to therapy. When I was growing up, people who were troubled went to therapy, and now it's something that's much more accepted, especially in my nephew who's 21. Like his generation, much cooler about it. But I wish I could send people that I run into all the time, just like, hey, you can do other things with your brain. You don't have to feel this way. Do you like being cranky all the time about something you heard on the radio about immigrants?
It's easy to fall into rage, though, man. And well, so So in closing, where can people go to learn more about you? Plug away.
Well, we hold these clan meetings every.
Oh man! Now the Jordan Peterson mask comes off.
Right. Whoosh. And then I don't know if you know what you're talking about, and let's talk about the definitions of. I love just what is happening.
The memes about him are so freaking funny, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the memes about him. So is a vodka a French fry? It's just like Jordan Peterson fans. This guy's deep.
Like that's the thing, is that I think there's this weird. I think I started really onto the Building Better Men thing when I started looking at Trump and going, how do you not see? How do you not see? I realize I
Nazi,
just said Nazi
indeed.
right there,
Yeah.
right? How do you not see that he is an unhappy, not necessarily, I don't think Trump is dumb. I just don't think he's intelligent. I don't think he's kind.
Well,
I know he
definitely
doesn't know
not.
what he's talking about. I know he's exceptionally insecure. And you look at all these people like the Jordan Petersons, the Charlie Kirks, the Andrew Tates of the world. Like, these are sad men.
Yeah,
They're
I mean they really
sad.
are. Like they're sycophants. They're very underwhelming. They're not thought leaders. In well, by definition, they technically are,
Yeah.
which is frightening. But they're not. I mean, like there's nothing necessarily impressive about them. I think
No.
I honestly think if we taught everybody how to use a library the first like 4 years, you know how like in Japan they just teach everybody how to be a decent human for like 4 years. If
Right.
we just spent a year or two just teaching people how to properly use a library and how to like just enhance their brain,
Research that.
they would never never fall for
There's
these
an
underwhelming.
annotation.
Yeah, they would not fall for these underwhelming, pseudo intellectual hacks. Like they just wouldn't do it.
No, like I find it so straight. It's one of the places where I went, that's so, how do we do that? How do you find this man appealing in any way, shape, or form? How? There's nothing. He's a clown, and he's been a clown forever with all of these other, everybody, his entire life has been like, yeah, he's this kind of goofy Trump. He's going to be at the party and weird. That's Trump.
All right. So anyway, where
we
can
move
people
on, right.
about you?
right. About me. Chris Smith for DonaldTrump.com. Now, easiest way, like, it's probably isn't going to be out by this weekend. I'm doing my show. I'm doing my show, Mind for the Tribe, in San Francisco this weekend, but it is streaming at Playground, San Francisco Playgroundtheater.com. Something in there, maybe org.
Can people watch it later? Because this episode
Yeah.
won't be out by then. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so it'll be available.
I will
later.
find a way to share it. I think we're going to make a film of it. Actually, I've got a buddy
Nice.
up here who's like, "Let's go do something weird." Like, I've got it memorized. So
That's
I'll just
always
show
the
it to you.
best. Let's do something
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
That's when all good things happen.
yeah. The easiest way to find me is chrissmithwriterperformer.com. I've got a website there, and I've got some plays that I've written up, some dealing with building better men, some that are weird. And on all the socials are either Strong Eye Productions or finding me through you.
Chris, thanks so much for doing this.
Dude, yeah. Was it always, again, I'll talk about the weird ups and downs of understanding the gun debate next time. I will make you so cranky and then go, yeah, I guess so.
All right, that was Chris Smith. Check out all of his stuff. Check out Mind for the Tribe if it's coming to a town near you. Music for the 1000 podcast is provided by Andrew Saxon. Be sure to check out his podcast, the Baywatching Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review, would you? Make sure you're subscribed. Tell your friends. Give us a rating, a review. It really helps. It goes a long way. And if you want to support this show on the sustainability end, you can do so over at patreon.com/Ron Placone. For Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of cool perks. You get 1,000 episodes before they're released to the public. You get insider information on upcoming films and events, and we do a Zoom hangout once a month. It's a really cool community, and that's all for Give What You Can level. All right, 108, here's something. Music for this show is provided by Andrew Saxona, and here's something significant about 108. Andrew recently got married. Shout out to Drew and Nez. They had a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. It was a really cool wedding. One of the most kind of multicultural weddings I've ever been to. It was super, super cool. So shout out to them. Shout out to Love. Shout out to 108, the episode that happened to happen on that day. Happened to happen. Say that a bunch of times fast. All right. We'll see you next week. Peace. Hey guys, Ron Placone here. Take your own 1,000 challenge. No, you don't need to interview 1,000 people, although if you want to do that, go for it. Your 1,000 challenge can be whatever you want. Maybe you want to call a friend out of the blue once a week. Maybe you want to read a book every month. Maybe you want to start a different garden every season. I guess that might be dependent on where you live. Look, the point of the challenge is taking on an endeavor that enriches your life in some way, and it can be measured. And then, of course, you do it regularly. That's what 1000 is doing for me, and hopefully for you too. The main reason for this podcast and every podcast I've ever done is to build community. So take your own challenge. Then join our Facebook group. It's called 1000 What's Your Challenge? ? That's 1000 What's Your Challenge ? And post about what your 1000 challenge is and the progress you're making. All I ask is that people be encouraging of each other's challenges. This is personal and vulnerable, so be cool. There's enough negativity on social media. We don't need to add to it. For those of you who aren't on Facebook, hopefully in the future we'll be expanding to places like Discord, Reddit, but for now, we're starting on Facebook. And again, that Facebook group is called 1000 What's Your Challenge? See you there.